No, that's not. I can go pull it. While you guys continue.
We'll keep going. Just don't move number 3. We actually can do SSDS at our next meeting. It's not mandatory that we do it today. So Carmela won't move number 3 and it'll be on administrative report at the next meeting. Not that it's an excuse, but the system is very difficult to navigate and it is not user friendly. Big surprise to anybody that's here. So
then we'll go right to here.
Yep, your personnel. Yep, you can go to purpose. Yeah, you can go to personnel.
Right.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Oh, there, get your public first, yeah. Get public. Yeah.
Nope, skip that. Public participation.
Yeah. This is the first opportunity for public participation. If anyone wishes to address the board, please write your name and address on the sign-in sheet and state your name for the record. Statements are limited to 3 minutes and should not be abusive, obscene, or defamatory in nature. Anyone? Since there is no public participation, it is now closed. Personnel Committee, Mrs. Spieler, would you like to? And then I would ask Mr. Williams, and then Mr. Casey.
Good evening, everyone. We did meet, the Personnel Committee did meet. Dr. Diane, Dr. Todd, Jeff, and myself, and it was a short, brief meeting. We have one policy discussing, but all right, so I'm going to just read ahead here. Right here. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Retirement as listed.
Yeah.
And can I say something personally about Ms. Boyle? My son had her in 2nd grade, and to me, this is like what Freehold Township school teachers are like, and to see her retire, I'm kind of sad there, and, but, you know, good for her, and I just kudos to her. That's what Freehold Borough Township's all about. Number 6.
5.
I'm sorry, 5, resignation.
As listed.
As listed. Number 6, position control as listed. Number 7, new employment as listed. Number 8, change of assignment as listed. Number 9, interim assistant principal as listed. Number 10, salary adjustment as listed. Number 11, long-term substitute as listed. Number 12, established start date as listed. Number 13, leave of absence as listed. Number 14, PTO honoraria as listed. Number 15, district honoraria rescind as listed. Number 16, district honorarium as listed. Number 17, stipend teacher assistant as listed. Number 18, district mentor as listed. Number 19, unpaid days as listed. Number 19, curriculum committee as listed.
20.
Number 20, I'm sorry. 21, track officials as listed. Number 22, affirm bullying investigation findings as listed. Number 23, certified substitutes as listed. Number 24, non-certified substitutes as listed. Number 25, translator, interpreter as listed. And that's it.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Mr. DeVito, roll call?
Mrs. Brand?
Yes.
Wait a second, yes, sir.
I'll second, I'll
Yeah.
second.
Mhm. Gotta be quick.
Mrs. Brand?
Yeah.
Dr. Casey? Ms. Crosby? Mr. Gargiulo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lambert?
Yes.
Mrs. Spieler?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Mrs. Brand, curriculum committee?
Well,
Wait, yep, push it.
So the curriculum committee did meet this evening. In attendance were Miss O'Sullivan, Miss Crosby, Miss Montgomery, and myself. We reviewed all the items on the agenda, and Miss Montgomery reviewed the current progress of the winter iReady diagnostic. The assessment window closes this Friday. To date, students are demonstrating a very strong growth from fall to winter. Very impressive. Ms. Montgomery reviewed the 24-25 curriculum department goals and corresponding action steps, including the implementation of new curriculum resources and the iReady benchmark assessment and digital learning content provider. Ms. Montgomery also reviewed a new report provided by Linkit analyzing 5-year percentile and ranking peer comparison data using publicly accessible data. In summary, our total population of students in the 3rd to 8th grade levels taking the NJSLA are performing in the 60 to 80 percentile for ELA and math consistently in the post-pandemic years. Science fluctuated between 40 and 60% in those same years. We are anticipating measured student growth in the upcoming years with the implementation of new curriculum resources, iReady, and continued professional development for the staff. I'd like to move the following items. Number 2, that was a committee meeting. Number 3, home instruction as listed. Number 4, course reimbursement as listed. And that's all.
Any questions or concerns?
I have a question on the Linkit 5-year trend. That's with peers. Does that compare each year with peers, or does it follow like the 3rd through 8 linearly?
It's not designed that way.
It's not,
No,
okay.
it looks at public data, and the reason it comes out now, this time of year I was sharing with the committee, is because this is when the school performance reports come out. So Linkit takes all of the publicly accessible data from districts across the state and compiles this report. So it compares us to our other formerly DFG groups. It looks at whatever data is publicly accessible. So
Okay.
it doesn't, it's last year's data at this time of year.
Gotcha. That's what I thought, but I just thought it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Second? Should we second?
Oh.
I'll second it.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I.
Now all in favor? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. No, good. Okay. Mrs. Lambert, Finance Committee?
Yep, the Finance Committee meeting did not meet tonight. So I'd like to move the following actions recommended by the superintendent. Number 2, bills and claims in the amount of $4,012,499.75 reviewed by Dr. Casey. Thank you. Travel and related expenses as listed in item number 3. The transfers as listed in item number 4. District disposal of the items that are listed in item number 5. Update of the donation from Alexander Exteriors to MWESPTO for the material and labor for pavers, flowers, trees at $39,000. Just changing who it's coming from the previous agenda. Again, thank you. Number 7, PTO honoraria for Applegate as listed. Thank you again there. Number 8, approve the co-op bid with CDW Government for the 24-25 school year. 9, contract with All Risk Inc. as listed. And that is it. Any questions?
And any questions? It's natural for her.
Just moving it along.
Just move it along.
These questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. Bob, was wondering now that the dust, if you want to have it in bad taste, settled on Donovan and the mold issue, have we approached it as we head into budget season? Is it maybe foreshadowing a bit? Have we received any funds or inquired about any funds from the state that could be available to pay for some of that mediation or anything?
No, we're at this point in time, I've submitted all the documentation to our insurance group. They've had it for a couple weeks now. I'm hoping to get it checked by the end of the month.
You just say this.
So, and just so I know we have some new board members, the way it works with asbestos or mold abatement is that depending upon the age of your building determines your deductible. So other than West Freehold, every single one of our schools has at least a $250,000 deductible. So we're on the hook for the first two, right? Because the older your building is, you know, the more susceptible it could be because it doesn't have all the, you know, it's old and it doesn't have all the new technology and all, it's just built differently. So, but yeah, so I'm hoping that by the end of this month we'll have that check.
I have a question
Sure.
for you. Because I am aware that the older it gets, the higher the deductible goes. If after the referendum, certain modifications are made to these buildings, isn't it true that the deductible will be adjusted?
I don't believe so, but I'll find out because the only question they asked me on any of the mold cases that we have this year, when was the building built? It's
Because I know in like residential,
I'll ask
residential,
Tanya.
if you do certain modifications to your home, like a new roof or whatever, it can change
I'll ask it.
your exposure amount. So I'm just curious if it's the
That was
same
the
for
only
the
that was the only consideration they asked.
I think we should push them.
Well, right now we need to be careful because they could drop us, you know, or jack our rates up for next year. So we're trying to play nice in the sandbox with
The
them.
best
So
news, it wouldn't surprise me if they look at that as some form, insurance company.
Well, usually it's new heating
I'll
units,
ask our insurance broker.
units, right? Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the only question I asked was, can you go? What's the date stamp say?
Right.
And then so 1971, 250 grand.
Kind of like me. No one cares.
If they could help, then we should definitely be inquiring about such help as well. As far as the mold issue.
There's no help, but
We have a second.
we need a second. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
A
We
second.
need a second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any old business? New business?
Stay be on the lookout. Barbelow and Eisenhower musicals are coming up in March. Which they both do a very good job, so I'm sure we'll be hearing some correspondence sometime in March. I know they are.
Just reminded me of something else.
Okay, maybe they say something. That's what I. Musicals will be coming for both schools.
And a reminder that our virtual referendum forum is February 20th. We've advertised and we'll continue to advertise the manner in which to register. The registration is just your name and email address, and then you get the link to join. We're up to 32 people right now. Well, at least half are staff members.
Do you want to share what they shared with us yesterday in terms of the traffic on the website?
Yeah, so that's great. I was
Yeah,
gonna ask that.
so-
Who do we-
They said that when they gave us comparable stats to what Marlboro just did because they
Manalapan.
I'm sorry, Matt Manalapan. So the people that are going on our website and they're on for an average about a minute to a minute and a half compared to what Manalapan was. They were much less than a minute. So people are going in, they're fine with, and they're hitting the key sites they could see. So we are generating a lot of traffic onto the site.
Did they say how many hit? Did they give you specific how many hits or?
I forget what the number was,
Okay.
It
but
was verbal. It wasn't
Yeah.
like,
Gotcha.
so we don't
We
have.
should, try to report that number.
yeah.
This could have been me.
Well, see-
I'm looking
So they did tell us that and the postcards just arrived later that day. So I'll thought next time I talk to Christine, which will be soon, we could ask her, have they seen a spike in traffic since the postcards went out?
My traffic a little down now that I have a postcard for.
Yeah.
Last time I get a question, I go.
I didn't get a postcard.
They don't like your side of town. They probably think you're the borough.
I didn't, I
Yeah, I
didn't.
don't know. It must be you, because I got one of them across the street from you.
No, hold on, no one got one yet. We're waiting.
The kids didn't get the mail. Not
yeah.
give it to you.
No, we haven't taken the mail. I was waiting. I heard they were out. I'm like, I got excited. I'm waiting.
Okay. At this point, I have no other president's remarks. This is the second opportunity for public participation. If anybody wishes to address the board, please write your name and address on the sign-in sheet and state your name for the record. Statements are limited to 3 minutes and should not be abusive, obscene, or defamatory in nature. Anyone? No. You're gonna take this, right?
Laura McGowan, co-president of the FTA, and we wanted to share
I don't have a note for that.
Just read this.
Just this one here?
Yeah.
Whereas pursuant to NJSA 10-412, the Board of Education may exclude the public from from the executive session portion of the public meeting at which the board discusses any of the matters described at NJSA 10:4-12B1-9. Now,
So for the purposes to.
okay, now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Board of Education shall conduct a closed session pursuant to the personnel and legal exceptions prescribed by NJSA 10:4-12 for the purpose of discussing the following matter. Pending or anticipating contract negotiations for FTEA contract negotiations and TWU proposed contract sidebar.
45 minutes, no action taken.
In anticipation that the length of the time of this executive session will be 45 minutes and that action will not be taken in public after the executive session. Be it further resolved that said discussion may be disclosed to the public when reasons for discussing and acting upon it in a closed session no longer exists.
Well, good.
Okay?
Thanks for coming out.